What's going on, Falcon fan? This your boy Ricondo. Come back at you with another video. And guys, I am back. I had to take a break last night. I was so pissed off. And being a Falcon fan, well, you guys know how it is, right? We've been doing this for a long, long, long time. And it's just me being, if you look at the title, as a real Falcon fan. And usually before I start to get on this podcast, I used to have to take a week off. I'm gonna be honest with you. No sports, nothing, and try to get over, just what I saw from yesterday. But being out here, I had to come out, had to talk to you guys, had to tell you my thoughts. But I did take a day off. Um, didn't listen no sports at all after the game yesterday. Just took time away from just the disappointment what we saw yesterday, and we're going to talk about it. It's not all doom and gloom. It's only week one, so let's go and start there. Um, 16 teams is going to be upset today. No matter how you check it, it's 32 teams in the league. 16 teams lost. It was no tie, so um, a lot of teams is not going to be happy with the outcome of yesterday's games. But this of the a week one game. So, I mean, it's just the nature of the beast. Look around the league. It was some performances way worse than Atlanta Falcons' performance, but expectations what we had for this team is just unacceptable. And if we're going to be true about what we saw this weekend, we just need to be honest about what we saw yesterday, and we're definitely going to get into that today. Um, it's not about X and O's and all that stuff. I'm not going to sit here and try to dissect, coaching because I'm not a coach. I'm not going to play Monday morning quarterback, and I'm not going to assume that I am. Don't know the game plan. I'm going to tell you what I saw, and I'm going to tell you my thoughts about it. And that's what I'm going to do as a fan. So I'm not going to try to get on here today and try to play Monday morning quarterback because I don't know the game plan. I can tell you what I saw, but I don't know what they were supposed to do, what they thought they were trying to do, or whatever. Just tell you what I seen from being a fan, being at the game, and what I saw from all three phases of the game. So, guys, with that being said, um, if you have not already, go ahead and please subscribe to the channel. Please hit the notification bell so you know when I drop another video. Please hit the like button so I know you guys are here to talk about. Then please share my video throughout the YouTube universe so more people can come here and talk about these Atlanta Falcons. So before we get started today, the first thing I really want to talk about today is the whole narrative that all these people is trying to correlate the preseason with the Atlanta Falcons playing like trash yesterday. The Atlanta Falcons offense playing like trash. That's an excuse. A lot of teams do not play their guys in preseason and they come out and play just fine. You're trying to get guys preseason. Preseason does not prepare you for the season. It does not. The Atlanta Falcons had this schedule since March, end of March. They knew who they was playing. The Pittsburgh Steelers have not changed what their identity is. And Pittsburgh Steelers won 10 games last year. And the reason they won those 10 games because they have a great defense. TJ Watt is a monster. Nice Highsmith is a monster. Hayward is a monster. They got a great defense. The Atlanta Falcons knew exactly what was going to happen on Sunday. So playing in the preseason, 15 snaps, 2 series, whatever you want to say, did not hurt them for not playing, getting ready for the game. The defense was ready. The special teams was ready. They did not play in this preseason as well. So the whole idea of everybody going around trying to put the narrative that they should have played in the preseason is just an excuse. They played like trash. The offense played like trash. It's no way around it. No excuses about it. They could not. They got punked on the offensive line. Kirk Cousins looked like he was shook. Nothing. 13-year pro, right? No 13-year pro needs to try to get in rhythm and things like that. He's been playing football since he was in high school. All those starts he had preseason wouldn't change that. You practice how you play. That's just the way it boils down to. You practice how you play. If you practice well, you'll come out and you'll perform well. It's just simple as that, right? Do not make excuses for what we seen yesterday. The offense played like trash. And then people want to make excuses. They would have played in preseason. Preseason wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have changed anything from what they should have expected yesterday. The fact of the matter is, TJ Watt, they couldn't block him. Caleb McGarry been doing what he been doing since he been here. And when it comes to pass protection, he's a great run blocker. That's why Atlanta Falcons be top 5 in run game all year round. But when it comes to pass protection, he's terrible at it. And they should have known that from the film, right? Who forgets Matt Ryan been looking like he got a chalk outline of a dead body, and Caleb McGarry standing over him for years. Caleb McGarry cannot block. And the fact that Jake Matthews mentioned that TJ Watts did not rush against him not one time yesterday proves that their game plan was to attack the right side, Caleb McGarry. That's the game plan, right? Now you could talk about they should have made adjustments, they should have chipped and all that. 100%. 100%. I'm not disagreeing. Like I said, the game plan is what the game plan was. But the Atlanta Falcons knew who they was going up against. They was going up against a good Pittsburgh Steelers defense. That's the bottom line. They was going up against a good Pittsburgh Steelers defense. That's what they do, man. They muck up the game. You know, they ran the ball 41 times for 137 yards. That's not good. They ran the ball 41. They mucked up the game. And the Atlanta Falcons, that's how Pittsburgh Steelers play. That's why Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season, because it don't matter how they get it done. That's what they do. They was ready to play. They was ready for a murky, a mucked up game with a lot of low scoring. They don't care if they win 10-0, 6-0. They do not care. They come out, they play hard-nosed football, and the Atlanta Falcons should have been prepared for that, right? That's what should have happened. Kirk Cousins looked like he looked rusty. He looked rusty, but he also looked scared. He looked like he was scared to throw off that right foot. Now you listen to Raheem Morris. He said that he has no injury. He's healthy. He's all this. But I can tell you this: the way the game plan, in my opinion, was set up, they was trying to protect him still. They didn't put him on the center. They didn't do no play action, no bootlegs, or nothing like that. Now, honestly, I don't even know if a bootleg would have worked the way Caleb McGarry was blocking, and way the interior offensive line couldn't hold up as well, right? So I don't know if any of those, would have worked anyway. The way they dominated our offensive line, it's no other way around it. Like, but don't make excuses for this team the way the offense played, and that's what people want to come out to do today. Preseason snaps, game. No, man, they just outplayed us. They defensive line mucked up the game, right? Our defense played well. Defense played well. 6 field goals. They ran the ball 41 times for 137 yards. That's 3.3 yards on average. Defense played well. 3 turnovers. We gave up 18 points. Special teams played well. They kept the ball out of Cardell Patterson's hands on kickoffs, so he couldn't try to break it off. You don't want to put the ball in his hand. Just kick it out of bounds. Give him a touchback, right? The special teams played well. The defense played well. The offense let us down yesterday. There's no other way to look at it. You can talk about all the other stuff you want to. You can talk about Justin Fields. Justin Fields didn't wreck us. He didn't, right? He threw for like 130 some yards, right? They had 270 yards total on offense, right? So it has nothing to do with preseason and all that. I just really had to get it out, because the whole narrative today, they didn't play in the preseason, and that's what caused all of it. No, don't do that. Don't make excuses for that shitty performance by our offense. That's what it was. Shitty performance, right? It was, they were not prepared to play. They came out, they played like crap. It's no other way around it, right? Don't make excuses for why the offensive line didn't get the job done. Why Kirk Cousins, 13-year vet, take a sack, man. Take a sack. Why are you throwing throwing balls out there when you just trying to prevent a sack, right? Every offensive play should end in a kick, a punt, or field goal after a touchdown, or a field goal for 3 points. Every offense possession should end in a kick. It's just that simple. Kirk Cousins played like a rookie yesterday. He played like he was scared. He played timid. And if you go back and watch just last season, first 5 games in Minnesota, he didn't play that way. So the question is he healthy? I don't know. I have no idea. Raheem Morris said he is healthy. So I'm gonna go off what the coach says. They're gonna go off what he says, right? We can talk about the game plan, but I wasn't in the room, so I don't know the game plan, right? You guys don't know the game plan either. So don't try to tell me what they should have did this, they should have did that, because none of you guys know. You ain't never coached professional football. You ain't never tried to get ready for Pittsburgh Steelers defense or nothing like that. So anybody trying to tell me what they should have did, all this stuff, I don't even care about none of that stuff. I'm telling you right now. So what I'm trying to say is they played like crap. It's no excuse for it. They just didn't play well. It's no it. They knew who they was playing, man. TJ Watt had 20 sacks twice. They knew who they was playing. It wasn't a secret. So don't tell me they was unprepared. They was prepared. They just didn't play well, right? The game plan didn't work. That's what you make adjustments for. But whatever the reason why the Atlanta Falcons offense came out and played like shit yesterday, and nobody on the offensive side of the ball could be proud of their performance, right? Tip my head off to B John. I tip my head off to to you know Tyler. Tyler didn't get enough touches, but he couldn't have got enough touches, right? If you turn the ball over 3 times, right, you get penalties. They never could get in a rhythm. And you have to put some onus on the Pittsburgh Steelers, because that's what they did. They was able to do that in the game. But when it boils down to it, it's not about X's and O's here. It's about Jims and Joes, right? I'm guys who are a little bit older, the inner Danny Green. They are who we thought they were. That's that defense. And they weren't ready for it. Offense was not ready for it. Preseason wasn't going to get them ready for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So people, please stop making excuses for why that offense played bad. They would have got, they could have played the whole preseason and it wouldn't have mattered, because nobody in preseason that they played got a TJ Watt. Nobody has that defense. So don't make excuses for them. That's just like, I don't understand. They pros, man. They pros. Grady Jarrett didn't play in the preseason. He had a sack and a half. Dude coming off of ACL. Come on, man. Like, don't make excuses for why the offense played like crap. And that narrative is so getting so old. Every year we come out here and talk about preseason, try to blame that on why the Atlanta Falcons play bad. No, that's not why. They pros, man. They pros. You're supposed to practice like you play anyway, right? So what's the purpose of practice if you got to go out and play preseason to get you ready? You practice. You practice the scheme. You practice preseason. You don't even game plan. You just go out and play, hit somebody, and all that stuff. Don't put it on preseason. And so that people can, y'all need to stop that narrative. Don't blame it on preseason. Blame it on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Just whoop the Atlanta Falcons offensive line as Kirk Cousins, $180 million guy, looked like trash. And already they starting the Michael Penix thing. That's what's happening. And he did it to himself. Did it to himself. Man, take the sack. Take the sack, bro. You take the sack, you can live another play another day. Maybe they don't get they don't get 9 points because we put them in field goal range 3 different times, right? They don't have to get a couple of first downs and then field goal range because we turned the ball over 3 times. I mean, it's Every offensive play needs to end in the kick, man. Punts are not bad in the NFL. If you punt the ball, you change field position. It's one of my keys every week on special teams. You change field position. You can punt, take a sack. Kirk Cousins should know this. He been in the league 13 years, right? If you getting pressure, the play don't work and you get in third and long, hey man, eat it. You should know better than that. And twice, he just threw the ball up for grabs. Twice, man. It's no excuse for it. I went back and watched the game, and I can tell you this: the interior offensive line played like trash. Caleb McGarry, I don't know if he blocked TJ one time. They tried to put tight ends over there to chip, but the way TJ was playing out wide, right? He was playing out wide. So the hot, the hot, Kurt didn't even see the hots. He didn't even see the hot reads at all. He didn't see the hots, man. Like Kyle Pitt chipped him. He wide open. You see him coming untouched. Caleb McGarry couldn't get out there in time, and he got knocked down. Didn't take the sack, but the ball was incomplete. Right. A couple of times he was doing the count, the snap count, which is sad. I can tell you this. Congratulations to the Steelers fan because the Atlanta Falcons was going on silent count at home, right? And I mentioned this because Steelers fans travel, and it was not due to the Atlanta Falcon fans not being there. The stadium was packed. It was completely full. But the Steelers fans travel. That's what they do, right? So they created a home field advantage because our offense was going on silent count, and TJ Watt was reading the snap. That's why a couple of times they called him offsides, which was really close. Like one time, I think he probably wasn't outside. Maybe he was, but maybe he probably wasn't. But you know, the truth of the matter is, the offense played like crap. That's what it boils down to. But guys, it's only one. It's only one game, right? So you looking at it and how bad teams played yesterday, and you had some great performances yesterday from teams as well, right? So if you go off yesterday, people already putting themselves in the Super Bowls. People are already looking at they're going to be in the top team of the draft, right? That's what happens. That's how week one goes. A lot of fan bases going to start to panic. A lot of fan bases going to be like, okay, we're good. But look at the Baltimore Ravens. They probably feel good, right? Because they're like, hey, we probably should have won that game, right? Right? Look at what Atlanta Falcons. We say, well, we don't turn the ball over three times. Bad as we played, bad as the Atlanta Falcons played, they don't turn the ball over three times. Maybe they could get a win, right? So you look at the positives, right? The defense played well. The defense played well. They hold the Pittsburgh Steelers to 270 total yards after giving up three interceptions. I mean, three turnovers. That's impressive. That's and every time it was on the plus side of the field. So those are the bright spots. It's three phases of football in the game. It's the special teams, defense, offense. Special teams and defense did their part yesterday. Offense did not bring anything to the table. Right? The first drive looked promising. That 2 minute drive when we got a touchdown from Kyle Pitts, that looked promising. But other than those two drives, the Atlanta Falcons did not do anything. We had drives going. I think both of the interceptions, we was driving the ball down the field, right? Both interceptions driving the ball down the field. Um, the fumble, snap, whatever, ball driving the ball down the field. I think that was first down play, and this Kurt said it was his fault. The center snapped it before the tight end passed behind his butt. So I mean, whatever the case may be, right? Those three turnovers, but the bottom line, the offense let the team down yesterday. The offense let the team down yesterday, and that's where we need to. keep the focus at, right? How do they make adjustments? Well, first of all, every offensive play ends in a kick. That's where you start right there. Protect the football. You protect the football, maybe you have better opportunities. Because the way our defense played yesterday, if those three possessions end in a kick, maybe the Pittsburgh Steelers don't put at least 9 points on the board and the score stay 10-9, right? That was a score. They scored, kicked three more field goals after the 10-9, and that's the difference in the game, right? So you have to look at it like that. Um, it wasn't perfect in any phase, right? You don't expect everybody to be perfect, right? You don't expect to go 3-and-out on defense every drive. You don't expect the offense to to march down the field and put points on the board every drive. But what you do expect the offense to kick the ball in some form or fashion every drive. You're leaving a punt, field goal, or an extra point, right? That's what you're trying to do on offensive possession. Turnover is not the answer. You cannot turn over the ball. Self-inflicted wounds on penalties. They hit a big crossing route on Kyle Pitts. They called Jake Matthews for hand in the face, right? Um, Another play for Bijan. They called another penalty holding. So those things is gonna happen. You cannot have, and you have to give credit to the defense because the defense might have caused them to make those holding penalties or hand to the face or whatever. So you're gonna give credit to the other team, but self-inflicted wounds kill drives, right? Getting to 3rd and long against that defense it's probably something that was not good, especially the way our pass protections. But the Atlanta Falcons need to do some soul searching, and you know that's when it comes to the coaching point, and you have to be honest with your players and let them know, right? You put it up on the film, that's unacceptable. That cannot happen. You got to be able to hold your man up. Sometimes it's man on man. It's not scheme, and you got our coach. It's just that man across you want to beat you to do their job, right? They get paid for a living too, right? You have to understand that. But at some point, you got to be able to win your battles. And yesterday, 7 times out of 10, our offensive line didn't win against the defensive line. And that to me, that's the game. I don't understand why Kirk Cousins didn't. He was not up under center at all, right? Do no play action. They ran this weird pistol. I don't know how many. If you go back and watch any any formations that Kirk Cousins played in his career, how many times he was in a pistol, right? A lot of times he played up on the center. If you look at the West Coast offense, it's a lot of play action. It's a lot of heavy run. It's a lot of trying to fool the defense. And guys, we didn't see none of that yesterday. That's why people scratching their head and like, is something wrong with Kirk Cousins? Because he did look like a statue, right? I can promise you this, right? And everybody want to talk about Matty Ice. Matty Ice would have taken the sack. He wouldn't have threw the ball up for grabs. Yeah, and everybody was like, man, Matt Ryan would have took a sack, man. It is just that, and that's a smart play. If you don't have time, take the sack. Why are you just throwing the ball up for grabs, man? You did it twice. Just throwing the ball up for grabs. You can't do that, right? That's rookies. That's what rookie do. That's what Desmond Ridder was doing last year. You cannot make those mistakes. And 13-year vet, I think he knows that, but I already seen it, man. ESPN already talking about Michael Penix Jr. Michael Penix Jr. Now, the crazy thing about it is the Atlanta Falcons got 2 more tough games, right? And we put our performances like we did yesterday from an offensive standpoint. It's going to get louder and louder. It's going to get louder and louder. And now the Michael Penix pick started to make even more and more sense, right? Now you paid Kirk Cousins $180 million, right? and it's really only a 2-year contract. We know that, right? He got 90 million guaranteed, so technically only owe him 10 more million, but he get paid again next year. So that's where the guaranteed money is this year and next year. The next 2 years is not guaranteed, so technically they can get out from under him going in 2026, right? But it's all about winning and losses, right? You drafted a guy number 8th overall, and I'm not on that bandwagon, guys. I'm with Kirk Cousins. We need to figure out what the hell happened. They need to go in the lab, do some soul searching. The offensive line needs to play better, right? Now, it was some bright spots from the offense. I thought Zach Robinson's play calling on a lot of plays was um really solid, right? Look at the third down play, look at the fourth down play. Um, they fed Bijan, got the ball in their playmaker's hand. Of course, not enough touches for Drake or Kyle or Mooney, but not enough possessions, not enough time, right? You think about that second half. I mean, I counted the first half. We only had 4 possessions, and that's what Arthur Smith does, right? When you look at what Arthur Smith offenses does, he chew up the clock. So I only had 4 possessions in the first half. One of those was a turnover, right? In the second half, we probably had 4 possessions. Guess what? 2 of those was a turnover. So that explains the touches for our playmakers and things like that. It was just disappointing. I know everybody um, is up in arms and want to already quit on the teams. It's week 1, so we're not going to do that just yet. We're not going to go into panic mode because of week 1 performance, right? Because you had to like what you seen from the other 2 phases of the game, right? You had to like what you seen from Grady Jarrett, a guy coming out for ACL, right? You had to like that. You had to like what you seen from Matt Judon, getting there and getting that sack. You had to like what you seen from Justin Simmons, Jesse Bates coming downhill, making plays, right? We already knew that Justin Field was going to get out on some runs. I think he had like 20 some yards rushing. Um, but overall, they only had 137 yards and they carried the ball 41 times, right? That's pretty good. That's really, really good. And we know that's what they want to do, right? Right. But they mucked up the game, man. They mucked up the game, and our offense had to deliver on the possessions because you wasn't going to get a lot of opportunities because the way they played, right? Yes, we holding 18 points, but if you go look at time possession, they was holding on the ball a lot because they wanted to chew the clock out. They wanted to control the game, and that's what they did for the most part from their offense. Yes, our defense stood up, made big plays, crucial stops in the red zone to hold them down, hold them to field goals and things like that. But when our offense could not take advantage of that, right? The defense kept these guys in the game pretty much the whole game. And at the end, the offense couldn't deliver, right? So that's where we're at. It's not the end of the world. So people, please don't panic just yet. Don't panic just yet, right? What you want to see, in this next game, you want to see improvement from week 1 to week 2. And to be honest with you, you can only see performances going up, right? Because it can't get no worse than that than what we've seen this past weekend, right? The issue is as a fan base, including myself. I mean, if you go look at my live before the game, how hype I was before the game, right? I looked like an idiot based off what what they put on the field from an offensive standpoint um yesterday. So, but it's just week 1. Just week 1. We got 16 games left. We're gonna see you gotta see improvement from week 1 to week 2. We want to see the adjustments. Um and you might have to see personnel changes, man, in the lineup, right? I mean, if Caleb McGarry cannot pass protect, and it's not nothing new. We already knew this, right? Um, we talked about this. We thought Storm Norton when he came in last year actually held up better, at their right tackle position than a Caleb McGarry. So you might see that Drew Dahlman has to be better from the inside, man. It just have to be. And coming up this week, they just got another challenge. They got big Jalen Carter coming in, right? So it don't let up. And then the week after that, you got Chris. You got big Chris Jones coming in. So it's not it's not going to get any better, man. The next 2 weeks. So the interior line needs to do some soul searching and be able to give in, man. I mean, buy into whatever's happening, right? The quarterback got to play better. Take a sack. Don't just throw the ball up for grabs, right? You live to play another play, man. Come on, like that's football 101. You don't turn the ball over. 3 turnovers in the game, and Pittsburgh Steelers happy they got the W. It's all about winning and losing, but you know just to put up 18 points and you +3 from a turnover standpoint. I mean, do they really want to be happy about that? It looks like the Atlanta Falcons from last year offense from a Pittsburgh standpoint. You ask me, Arthur Smith still can't put the ball in the end zone. So they put up 18 points and they were +3 on the from a turnover standpoint. So um, you got to take positives away. It's every game, wins and losses. You have to take it and build from that, right? A lot of times, you know, because the preseason games don't mean shit. That's why you look at the first 4 games of the season to kind of get a feel for what your team is going to really be, right? That's how you looking at it. You take the first 4 games. All right, this the kind of team we are. This what we need. We can be going for the next 12, right? That's what you're trying to shoot for. So you know, don't don't get all wrapped up about what happened yesterday, even though it was disappointing as hell. Um, and like I said, for me being a Falcons fan, and I live and die with the Falcons. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's like it's like I was playing yesterday. I'd be so pissed off, man, and you can't help it. That's why I name my page Real Falcon Fan, because that's who I am. I couldn't come on here and talk yesterday because I was just too pissed about it. But I'm coming here today, you know, with clear heads. Went back and I rewatched the game, and it's pretty much what I saw in the game. Like I said, um, from an offensive standpoint, they just whooped our ass up front. That's what it boils down to. The Pittsburgh Steelers whooped our ass with the front seven, and our quarterback did not play well. It's just that simple. You don't have to look no further than those 2 things. They beat our ass up front, and our quarterback did not play well. It's just that simple. Just that simple. Could the coaching could they made a better adjustments? Yes. But I can tell you this: when you getting dominated, I don't know what adjustments you make, right? You just heavy and just do max protect, right? And keep everybody in. I guess you could do that. It's the first game of the season. Maybe you thought your guy was going to be better than that. I don't know, but at the end of the day, they wasn't. They wasn't better. They was better than us. And sometimes it's just the nature of the beast, right? The guy is a monster, and every time you go back and look at that draft, the Atlanta Falcons did not draft T.J. Watt. It just pisses you off every time. I think that's the draft they drafted Takk McKinley, if I'm not mistaken. If somebody can correct me on that, but I think that's the draft where they didn't draft Takk McKinley. They draft Takk McKinley instead of T.J. Watt. Man, and that's sad, man. I'm looking up what year it was. He was drafted in 2017. Oh man. Atlanta Falcons drafted Takk McKinley at 27, and the Pittsburgh Steelers drafted TJ Watt at number 30. Thomas Dimitrov, guys. So just think about it. I mean, we're talking about a guy that don't had 20-digit sacks twice already in his career, and the Atlanta Falcons drafted Takk McKinley, a guy who's been on practice squads, did never live up to the hype or anything like that. But we could have drafted TJ Watt. Now all other 26 teams before us could have drafted him too. But the fact that we drafted a pass rusher at 27, but then draft TJ Watt, we draft Takk McKinley, who's not in the league anymore. Just to let you know why Thomas Dimitrov probably ain't even here no more, because he could not draft. It's just that simple. But just you have to chalk it up to the game. It is what it is. It's no other way around it. But this guy's not falling though. I just want you guys. I'm coming on here to clear heads from a real Falcon fan. And to be honest with you, the Falcons could go 0-17. I still be here talking about the Falcons. I'm sick like that. I'm crazy like that. I'm a Falcon fan. I mean, if you're still a Falcon fan today, and I had this conversation before, if you're still a Falcon fan today after all the misery that we have been in, you're a real one. So, but you got to be honest about what you seen yesterday, and from yesterday, they just played like shit, man. It's no other way to put it. The offense did not deliver like they were supposed to deliver. And the only way the Atlanta Falcons could win that game if the defense just pitch a shutout, right? Because the way the offense played, the defense would have had to pitch a shutout in the second half. But when you still turn the ball over 2 more times in the second half, put the opposing team on the short side of the field, and you still hold them to field goals, you did your part as a defense. I mean, it's nothing else you can ask the defense to do. Now, the defense could have created turnovers, but they protected the ball. They ran the ball 41 times. So they was letting you know what kind of game it was going to be, right? They wanted to shorten the game. They wanted to keep Atlanta offense off the field, right? And the time Atlanta offense did get on the field, they shit the bed. So it's really no other way to sugarcoat it. That's what it boils down to. But it's a lot of happy fans today, right? Because like I said, 16 team won, and I know a lot of teams, sky high today because their team got the job done. 2 teams in particular, that's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the New Orleans fucking Yanks. Both of those teams won, which is pisses me off even more when I looked at the scores. I mean, the Atlanta Falcons put up 10 points. The New Orleans Yanks put up 47 points. Tampa Bay Buccaneers put up a lot of points, right? And we touted our offense all off season. Talk about all the weapons that we got: Kyle Pitts, Drake London, all these good players that's going to be able to do something. We had a veteran quarterback that sees the field well, that great in the process, processing and all that stuff. We seen none of that yesterday, right? So I can understand everybody like, what the hell did we just see, right? Is the Achilles that bad? We're going to find out here soon, guys. We're going to find out here soon. If it was just a bad game, from a rusty Kirk Cousins who haven't played, just trying to get back in the mix, maybe he should have played in the preseason because he was so rusty. I don't know, but that's not an excuse. I'm not giving him an excuse. He's a pro. Grady didn't play in the preseason. Grady was ready to roll, man. And he delivered. He made huge plays in that game, right? He was all over the field. So At some point, you can't make excuses. You got to be a pro. You got to be ready to play. You got to be look at it. Look at the game Lamar Jackson had. Lamar Jackson didn't play in the preseason. Look at the game he had on Thursday night. Don't make preseason the excuse for these guys, a scapegoat. Try to put it all on the coaching, and that's what the media. This what happens. Players get coaches fired because the way they play on the field, right? Trust me, they knew who they was playing yesterday. They knew they was playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. They knew who T.J. Watt was. It was they got outplayed. That's what it boils down to. And everybody want to put it all on the coaches and all this crap. That's a bunch of bullshit. Like it's the players, man. They didn't play well. Kirk Cousins, 13-year vet, and he played like crap, right? Don't put that on the coaching. I'm not going to do that today. It's all about the players. They know who they was playing. They didn't play well. It's just that simple. Let's get to some of these comments. Eddie says, he's on sky high today because the Cowboys look good. Same old Kurt when pressure is on. I can't argue with that. He looked like crap. I didn't realize New Orleans had a new OC, knows the coach, quarterback. Our Falcon will have to tighten up for Tampa Bay and New Orleans. Yep, looks like it. They riding high today. Hey, I spoke at you at the game, walking out. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? I'm glad you recognized me too. Bro, there are players that just don't have 4-quarter stamina, regardless of how you look at it. Yep, yeah, man, they play like crap, man. Pitt has completely revamped their D and what they're accustomed to. Yeah, I mean, actually, if you listen to what Michael Penix said, that's a great point. He said he assumed that they were going to do a little more pressures. They did not do pressures, and they played them a lot more coverage. But the problem only reason you can play coverage the way they play coverage because their front four was getting home too easy for Kurt, and that's what I'm saying. So he didn't have time to go through his progressions, right? That's why I say he got to eat it, man. You don't have time to go through your progression. Just take the sack, man. Don't force it, and that's what he was doing. But you're right. They did change up their deal a little bit. Because Michael Penix said they expected more pressure. Man, they would have pressured, it would have been worse, I think. But they didn't even have the pressure. They were just get home with 4. So that even made it worse. Did not state previously, most teams use the first 2 games. So the preseason because it's long season. Yes, and that's true. I agree with that. I think it's 4 games though. I think it's 4 games. But the Falcons can't afford to go down, man. They got to figure it out. I mean, at least have a better showing on Monday night. I mean, even if they lose on Monday night, they need to play better. We need to see a better team on the field, man. It's just the bottom line. We're going to the link, another Rabbit fan base, against a good Philadelphia Eagles team. So, you don't want to get like up in arms in the second game of the season because you lose, but you need to play better, right? We need to see a better performance from our offense this week. So that's what we're looking for. No matter how you look at it, yep. He was scared due to the pressure. He's like that, Dak. It counts. Hey man. Hey, right now I'm not arguing with nothing you saying about Kirk Cousins from yesterday, but he has to play better. We just got to see. We got to see. And he gonna have to start looking over his shoulders. If he keep playing like that, he's gonna be looking over his shoulder. I'm not saying that right now. I don't want to start that narrative because of one game, but man, that was not a good performance by Kirk Cousins yesterday. However, it's the first game. NFC South will be tough, except for Carolina. Yeah, Carolina looked bad. Then they just lost their best defensive player. Look like he's gonna be out for the season. So I think they just going from bad to worse. And I feel bad for Bryce Young because how well he played in college. You know, if they don't get it right, man, it's going to end up be just another footnote into the football history as being a #1 draft pick. So let's hope they can figure it out there in Carolina. I love football, specifically my Falcons. Yes, quarterback play like crap, no excuses. Fourth game is the Saints. I don't see us winning the next 3 games that we play that. Yes, I agree with you. If Kirk Cousins played the way he played, it's going to be and like I'm telling you, the noise going to start getting louder. If he plays like this next on Monday night in national media, right, the only game on TV for everybody to get to see. If he plays like he played on Monday Night Football, oh man, it's really going to. And guys, it was a narrative out there about Kirk Cousins in primetime games. I don't know if you guys remember that narrative that he never really played well on primetime games. So we got 4 primetime games this year, and the next one is due up on Monday Night Football in the league. So, and they're gonna bring the dogs, man. It is what it is. We get to the keys of victories on Wednesday because our defense got a bigger challenge coming up as well. All those weapons the Philadelphia Eagles have, so it's going to be a whole nother different, you know, different game because they got some guys on the other side of the ball as well. So I mean, it could get really ugly if our offense looked like it looked on Sunday. So that's going to be tough. Uh, Philly can be beaten if Kirk gets some serious online protection. Yes, I agree with you. They can be beaten. They can definitely be beaten. I'm not giving Philly the game, right? Because it's like I said, I don't know how many teams got a freaking TJ Watt on it, right? You look at a Miles Garrett, you look at a Bosa, you look at a Nick Bosa, you look at a Michael Parsons, right? Those guys, you can't really block those guys in a way. They're gonna make plays. It's just the nature of the beast, right? But Philadelphia got great players, but they don't have no TJ Watt. So we just need to be stout. They have great defensive play. I'm not saying they don't have guys that can play, but they don't have a TJ Watt on that team, right? So we can play better, but you know, I think it's to me it's the greatest thing about yesterday's game is it's a wake up call for this team because how bad they played, right? I mean, if we would have squeaked out a win yesterday, they'll be feeling good about it. But it's funny, and I think about it's one thing that Shannon Sharp always says is that you never expect something in a win and a loss that you will expect in a win. So if you get a win and stuff happen and you still win, you shouldn't be satisfied because you got the win, right? So the way they played, they should have lost. I mean, you turn the ball over 3 times. You can't block up front. Um, Penalties and things like that. You should lose the game. It's just that's the football guys. If you don't respect the game, you don't play the game right, you're gonna lose, right? And you should win. So that's what I like about it. You know, the fact that they lost, right? So it's good. It's good. It's just a good wake up call for the Atlanta Falcons. They had all this high hopes, right? And Grady said it himself, right? They all said it. Don't matter what it look like on paper. You got to go out and you got to prove it, right? They came out said Atlanta Falcons had a top 5 offensive line. Well, it didn't look like it yesterday. It didn't look like it yesterday. So they got a lot of soul searching to do, and really that's what it boils down to. What's going on, April? Let's see. Alger and B Gun gang together look good. Yeah, like I said, it's some bright spots in the game. I love the way B Gun looked. Look, I really did. I like the way Tyler got in his couple of touches he got. Just didn't get enough, man, because the offense can stay on the field. It just what it boils down to. Um, and then and to be honest with you, if we get a little bit better on blocking down the field, Bijan probably could have broke one of those runs because he was this close on a couple of plays, and he kind of probably could have broke some of those runs. So if you look at that as well, um, you know, it's not just the line; it's everything. It's take all 11 men to make a play, be really great. So and all 11 people didn't do their job on this play or that play, whatever. But you it was so reminiscent of last year, the way the offense looked yesterday. But it was so different because I like the play calls, for the most part. They just couldn't execute them because the quarterback played like crap and the offensive line couldn't hold up. So, I mean, we don't even know. We don't, some plays we didn't even see how they developed because the quarterback couldn't hold up. The line couldn't hold up, and the quarterback was just off, man. If you go back and look at some of the plays, it looked like guys was open downfield in the passing game, but we just didn't have time to connect, right? Some people showed that looked like Kurt wasn't planning off that back, like probably in his mind. That's probably why probably he if anything he probably should have played preseason game just because to get it out of his mind that he can play that you back, right? But if you're not 100%, man, you need to tell somebody and get your ass out the game so we can win some games because you're not gonna drive the ball off your foot because you think you're going to hurt your Achilles or you're timid and all that stuff, man, it's going to be a long season for us. So, like, we don't have time for you to get right. You got to get it quick. And like I said, in my opinion, you know, prime time. Deion Sanders said some of his best plays ever was made in practice, and that's why I don't you know, prescribe to the whole preseason thing, right? Because you practice how you play, right? You go out and you put 100% in practice because that's what you expect to see on game day. What you put on the practice tape, right? That's what you're supposed to do. So if you are not practicing hard, right, in practice, you're selling yourself short. And I don't want. I know that's not what these guys was doing. So, well, my point is, all those things you were doing in practice, you need to execute that in the game, man. That's just that simple. And that's why you can be confident because if you're playing like crap in practice, right, you won't be confident in the game. And that's what I'm talking about. So like people putting all this freaking, you know, logic on preseason, man, that's a bunch of crap. They practice a lot. They look good in practice. They talked about it all season how good they looked in practice. They didn't execute it in the game. It's just that simple. Yes, they was going up against another team, but you have to be ready for that because you're a pro. That's the bottom line. So, was it execution or play calling that helped the offense look bad? Um, I don't. It's execution. Like I said, most of the plays we didn't even see develop. So we're gonna say I'm gonna lean more execution than play calling because now game plan is a whole different story because maybe they didn't do a good enough game plan for the game because they was going up against that defense. But that's what adjustments for as well. So, once you figure out what they're doing, I mean, I was one play where they slanted on the right side, right? They put TJ Watt out wide. They put most of their guys on the right side, and then the left side was open. So when they hiked the ball, our left guard, our left guard and our left tackle wasn't blocking anybody. Then they did a stunt inside, and the left guard was caught off guard, and the pressure came from the inside from our left guard, and TJ Watt came from the outside, and they met in the middle, right? So that's the kind of things they were doing. But from a coaching standpoint, to your point, if you ask them about coaching, you got to be able to see that, right? So they was using the weakness of Caleb McGarry from the right tackle spot, right? And the youth of our left guard, second year guard that we got coming in, not being ready because he's stepping back and he ain't blocking nobody. He just sitting there waiting. And when the stunt came in, he was late, right? So it's pretty much they was really smart with their rush plans, how they was doing with their front four, but they was setting it up, and you got to make adjustments to that because the stunt was coming from the outside and the left guard he's sitting there just waiting, ain't block nobody was coming, but the stunt was coming from the other side and he saw it late. Pressure came from inside. T.J. Watt came from outside. Kirk Cousins go down, can't get the ball off in time because of the pressure. So um, those kind of things they was doing. Um, you got to take your head off on some of the run plays. Their safety started to come down, putting 8 in the box. Um, so the second half they kind of stymied our run game as well. And then once they did that, it was curtains because our run game we actually ran the ball really well in the first half, but after that they made adjustments. They started to bring down the safeties, started to bring down some of their cornerbacks, play tight, and then they started to shut down the run game. And once they did that, um, they knew we couldn't pass because we couldn't protect, and then they pitched a shutout in the second half. That's pretty much what it boils down to. So um, you can say that's game plan, or you can say that's you know lack of execution, trying to understand what they're doing. But you know you got to be balanced. You got to be able to pass the ball, and that's one thing we was not able to do yesterday. You know, Riccone, you give a system time to work. It's not about the good players. Yesterday game was a lot about coaching adjustment assignment. They will get together for the most part. We're going to find out. We're going to find out. I think it was about the players because you didn't know what to expect yesterday, right? So you're right. Adjustments was huge in the second half. And that's what I just talked about. Probably making some adjustments in the second half, but for the most part, um, the players just didn't do their job, man, and that's what it really boils down to. The players just did not do their job. Um, you know, the guy in front of them just beat them for most of the time in that second half, and that's what it boils down to. John says, "Do you think Coach Barber has control of the team because if the Falcons lose next 3 games, well, so So I do think I think he does. Like I said, this right here is a tough stretch, right? Um, and what you want to see from the Atlanta Falcons in these next 2 games is better performances, right? Yes, you want to get the wins, but you want to see them play better, and that's what, in my opinion, um, that's what you want to see because you can start to see stuff form. Now, let's be honest, like they got a new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator, new head coach, new quarterback. So it got a lot of newness to this team. So it should take time, right? They shouldn't hit the ground running right off the bat and be, you know, like the Kansas City Chiefs, like the Philadelphia Eagles, right? Those guys been playing together for a while. Philadelphia got this bring the offensive line back. They just didn't got a new center, right? But AJ Brown, all those guys got got a lot of freaking time on task together, time on tape together. So Kirk Cousins is just getting the flow. So you got to give it time. I do understand that, but you want to see better performances, right? Like I said, if you look at how the Baltimore Ravens played on Thursday, yes, they lost the game, but they can come away with that game feeling not defeated, right? Like we did yesterday. And that's the way you want. That's how you want to take a loss, right? Um, Win and losses are what it all boils down to, but it's how you lose, in my opinion, that really dictates, your progress and how you looking better, as a team, right? If you're losing all your games at the end of the game, right? You can't finish, right? You team that can't finish, right? But if you're going out, you battling and you lose a game, let's say 35-34, and you going back and forth and they got the ball last and they pulled it off, you lost the game, but you like that was a good game, right? Play here, play there. We right there. That's how you got to look at it. But when you put a performance like you did yesterday, it's a whole different feeling where it was complete domination from their defense in the second half of the game, right? And you couldn't get anything. So that's at that point you want to see improvement from that standpoint. That's what you want to see, right? And the scary part, in my opinion, is the defense should improve as well, right? From all the good things we've seen from the defense yesterday, you want them to improve as well, right? With the caveat is that the Pittsburgh Steelers offense is not a juggernaut in its own right. So this will be a great test for our defense coming up this week, playing the Philadelphia Eagles with a whole different skill set of players. They got a quarterback who was the run-up MVP 2 years ago, went to the Super Bowl. So this is a great test for Atlanta Falcons coming up on both sides of the ball, and we want to see improvement across the board. So that's the way I look at it when you talk about the next 3 games. Kurt has gotten like Matt Ryan when he turned 36 old, he was broken old man like Joe Biden. So like I said, at this point, we're gonna give it time, right? It's just one game, guys. So don't hit the panic button yet. I think it was a poll out there on X, Twitter, asking should we hit the panic button, and I'm gonna say right now, no, don't hit the panic button just yet. Let's see how a 13-year veteran can regroup from having a bad performance from one game to the next. So that's what you got to look at. Kubiak's son calls the Saints plays. Are the Falcons in trouble? I tell you, really need to make adjustments. We'll see, man. I mean, they play the Carolina Panthers, so I'm not going to put a lot of stake in that game. Ainks game. I didn't watch the game. I don't care about that game. So I go look at something when we get ready to play them in week 4. But right now, I don't care about the Saints. I ain't gonna even lie to you. Especially that we lost, man. It just sucks. No improvement. We need wins. We need to see if the coach is real or not. Yeah. I'm not arguing with you on that, but shit. We got a tough next couple of games up, man. That's what we got. Edge got beat like a dirty rug after getting paid. Kurt needs to have time. Yeah, that's gonna happen to cornerbacks. Yeah, he did get beat. Kurt will be all right if the team adjusts the offensive style. Teams will not let out everything in week 1 or 2. However, Kurt cannot handle pressure when the game is on the line, and that's facts. I'm not arguing with you, man. Until I see otherwise, I'm just gonna, just hold my comments on that. We got to turn it around and fast. You're right. You're right, Chris. Man, we got to, man. Ain't no we can do about it. We got to, you know, throw it out. I think today was the day they looked at the film. They had to tell the truth. I hope they showed Chris Lynch. I hope they showed the whole offensive line get beat down, and they got to be better. Kirk Cousins, I hope he took it on the chin. Take the sacks, man. Don't just freaking throw the ball up for grabs. Regardless of his great career stats. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna argue, man, about Kirk Cousins until I see something otherwise. Chrissy Lewis, yep, true fans, man. I'm still here, man. It is what it is. TJ wouldn't have fitted with the Falcons system at the time. Just like I don't care about the system, man. Look at this kid. Look at it. You can fit him in any system. I do not care what you say. They screwed up. They should have TJ Watt. See, that's what's wrong with coaches. And I keep telling you, system is my system. He don't fit my system. Dude, the dude is an all-world player. Going to be a future Hall of Famer. And we talking about a system. Like, come on, bro. Like, that's And here is the story that probably needs to be answered. I think they still didn't address the offensive line. And yes, I'm with you on that, James, because we knew what Caleb Gary was, man. Right? It was surprising that they paid him, a couple of years ago. Brought him back. They got him on a deal now. They really did. He took a team friendly deal to come back, but I mean, what's the name from the Saints been dominating him for like years. He get dominated, and they know that. So that's why the best pass rushers line up on the right side. I can promise you this: week 3, Chris Jones gonna line up on the right side. Be prepared. I promise you, Chris Jones line up on the right side, coming at Caleb McGarry. No doubt in my mind. Next week, Monday Night Football, whoever their best pass rusher gonna line up on the right side. That's what's gonna happen, man. And it's just the nature of the beast. So might as well be prepared to see it happen. Um, Offensive line got to play better. And to your point, maybe they need to address the O line. Maybe that's what they need to do. That's what they need to do. So guys, I thank you guys for coming in to let me have my vent session to get it all out. Week 1. And to be honest with you, this right here, doing this podcast has been good for me because usually, like I said, I used to mope for like a whole week until the next game come on. And I can't do that anymore because I have to come on here and talk to you guys about the Falcons, good and bad, good or bad, win or lose, how well they play or not. And it's good. It's good medicine. Um, I wish I didn't like the team. I wish I didn't care, man. I wish then it'd be cool, right? But the fact that I'm a diehard Falcon fan, I always have been. Um, it's like pain, man. I hate it. I hate it. But thanks for coming on. Listen to me rant and rave um, for over an hour tonight about this week 1 loss, right? But we're gonna go ahead and you know forget about it. It's in the past now. We got to get ready for the Philadelphia Eagles. Monday Night Football, prime time. We asked for prime time games. Last year we didn't get any. We got one next week, right? All eyes going to be on the Atlanta Falcons against the Philadelphia Eagles. Saquon Barkley looked all world the way he played. Um, right? We got to tip your house the way he looked. Jalen Hurts still. I think he'll give you a couple if you because he wants to take that shot. So you just have to be patient with him. I think he'll give you a couple. That's what he likes to do, especially as a late. The Super Bowl season. I think he only turned the ball over 8 times in that season. But so lately though, the last couple seasons started off, Monday, Thursday, Friday night football. He actually didn't play well. So, I mean, he played well enough for them to win the game, but he had some costly turnovers. But Saquon Barkley was, to me, was stole the show for those guys. Um, so it's gonna be interesting. This is gonna be an interesting game, right? A team that's feeling good about what they was able to do in Brazil. Coming back home for their first home game in the link against a team that needs to show something, show some life, from the Atlanta Falcons, right? And you hate to see it, right? Raheem Morris coming back, you know, don't get any easier playing the Philadelphia Eagles and then playing the Super Bowl champions, right? Does not get any easier. than the next 2 games. But that's what you sign up for, right? You got to believe in yourself. You got to go out and play the games, right? And it's any given Sunday, in this case, any given Monday, because it's on Monday Night Football. And we're going to see what happens. But tune back in on Wednesday when I get my keys to victory. The Pittsburgh Steelers game is over, right? We're going to put it in the past. But, going forward, there's some things that we definitely need to talk about that they need to work on, which probably going to, contribute to some of my keys going into Wednesday for the game on Monday night. So, guys, that's all I have. Thank you, guys, for tuning in tonight. Like I said, to hear me get my vent out, session out. Hope it was medicine for some of you guys to get over it as well. First game of the season, guys. The sky's not falling. We just one of 16 teams that was unhappy in week 1, right? We can be back at 500 in 1 week, be feeling good, feeling like you're right back on track, getting ready for week 3. So that's what you got to look forward to. Got to wash it out, get it out your system, and put back on all the positive vibes that you believed in, that you had going into, the first game of the season. They didn't go away. You just didn't put out performance you wanted to put out. You just got to go out and be better the next week. There you have it. It's your boy Ricondo coming back at you with another video. Peace.